Shall we vlog today? I think we're gonna vlog today. Again? So soon? Yeah, I'm feeling vloggy today. All right, so it's not even November yet, but it seems that winter has come. It is very cold and dark. It's almost 6:30 this morning. Most days I start with some kind of exercise, but I've got my half marathon tomorrow. So today I'm almost completely taking off. I stretched this morning, did a little bit of mobility, and other than that, I'm gonna run my route. Obviously, I've got about 70-ish stops waiting for me so far at the station, so I'm just heading to go sort. But it should be an interesting day. Actually, this specific vlog might leak into 2 days, so it might be an interesting 2 days because I have work, and then I've got a 2-hour bus ride up to Logan, Utah to go and play lacrosse against Utah State. So I will be coaching, obviously, for that. And then in the morning, I've got my half marathon. Now, this is one place where my current boss has been really awesome and flexible. Honestly, the last people who owned the contract and the manager for that as well were pretty good about this. But flexibility is pretty dang good. I think part of it is because they're just so desperate to have drivers. If I told them that I needed to go and do something and they said no, I could just threaten to quit, which is kind of a D-bag move, but I could do that, and they would probably be like, oh, okay, go do your thing, don't quit, and we'll see you after. But today, I'm just gonna do my deliveries, and then I have to get on a bus before my pickups start. So somebody else is going to have to cover those for me. So I let them know a week and a half ago, hey, on this day, next week, I can do my deliveries, or I can run deliveries on another route if you wanted me to, but I won't be able to do my pickups. And they were like, okay, thanks for the heads up. And that's all it took. Super nice. So very happy with the flexibility there, especially because I am going to be leaving on lots of trips for lacrosse, at least once February rolls around and we get into our actual spring lacrosse schedule. Right now it's just fall ball. Not a really big deal if I wouldn't be able to make it to these games, but obviously I want to be there. I'm the offensive coordinator, so it's kind of necessary for me to be involved. But the flexibility from my contractor, very, very nice. Now I'm gonna try to give you guys a time lapse of me sorting the truck, but my truck is parked on the mobile dock, which is outside, and there's not very good lighting, so it might be a little bit dark for you. So if you can't see anything, I'm sorry. Maybe I will just cut the sorting time lapse out. It's usually not crazy exciting. I do have a couple of bulk stops though, so I'll try and we'll see what we get. So it was a rather long sort. The sun is starting to come up. I've got about 90, what did my scanner say? 96 stops, which means it's gonna be more. It's gonna be over 100, which is abnormal for my route. But I should be able to do it relatively quickly. So let's get you set up and let's get after it. All right, are you guys comfy? I'm gonna do the next 30, 40 stops, and then I'll check in with you. All right, so in about 40 minutes I did 34 total, so that's pretty dang good. I'm almost done with this little snippet of my area, and then I'll move on. As you can see, got 105 total. That's about to be more because I have one stop that's really 9 separate stops that I'm about to break up. This won't surprise you, but these lovely 100-pound dressers wouldn't fit in any of the Amazon boxes at this apartment complex. Dang it. So we get to do this the old-fashioned way. Thank goodness there is an elevator here. Nice. Well, that definitely slowed down my deliveries per hour. Oh well, I figure no matter what, I should be done before noon today, which would be awesome, because I have some errands to run before I get on the bus. Ended up doing about 42 in the 1 hour I've been out. Not bad. All right, I'm at about 52, 53 stops, somewhere in there, so almost halfway done. It is 9:47. The second half of my area doesn't usually go as fast as the first, but we'll see where we get. Ooh, dollies suck. Let me rephrase that. Dollies are actually great, because I would have to make multiple trips to this hospital basement in order to make this delivery happen if I didn't have a dolly. Having to use the dolly, that's what sucks. You have to load the dolly, then unload the dolly, then load the actual dolly, back onto your truck. All of that takes extra time, and taking extra time is something that we don't like to do. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk on dollies. Let's get back at it. Not bad. 12:04. Did my last delivery at like 11:52 or something like that. But now we got some errands to run. Okay, so I really only have one errand to run today before I need to run home and start getting ready to go get on the bus. And that is I am going to head over to my favorite sporting goods store and look for a thermal top, probably an Under Armour long sleeve thermal top, and some light gloves that I can use for running that will keep my hands relatively warm. The temperature up the canyon that we start the half marathon in tomorrow is supposed to be 25. Now, I lived 2 years of my life in Canada, and 25 is not horrible, but I did 11 miles last Sunday from like 5 a.m. to like 6:30 a.m. and it was like 30 degrees, and I wore this hoodie and my hands were super cold. I don't want to wear a hoodie to run this race. I'm gonna wear a Captain America shield shirt because it's supposed to be the haunted half and you're supposed to dress up, but a lot of people don't full on dress up. They find little subtle outfits. My brother is going to wear a whole Power Ranger costume, like a form-fitting Power Ranger costume. I can't do that. He says that he's likely going to rip it off and ditch it halfway through the race, and I won't be surprised if he does that. But I'm the kind of person who I just want to show up and run and not have to deal with taking things off, putting things on, blah, 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 blah. I just want to start and finish, and that's it. So my costume is going to be very minimalist, and my goal is to stay relatively warm, but not overheat. So I'm going to do like 3/4 tights, some running shorts, a thermal long sleeve top, light gloves, my Captain America shirt over that thermal top, and maybe a beanie. I'm still debating on that one. The race is providing drop bags for everybody, which is super nice, which means I can wear a hoodie up there until they actually start the race. Within like 30 seconds of starting the race, they will tell us like, hey, if you want to take anything off, put it in your drop bag. Do that, put it in the bag, drop it on the ground. They will collect all that and then put the drop bags at the end of the race for everybody to pick up their crap. So I'm pretty happy about that. I think that's a really smart idea. I remember one race I ran, they provided space blankets in your little packet that you got to pick up. And so I did the space blanket thing, which was nice. And then everybody pretty much just left them behind, and I'm pretty sure they just gathered all those space blankets up and threw them in the trash. But smart on these races, figuring out ways to keep their racers warm before they start running. I know for a fact by the end, I will be nice and toasty, but I don't want to be dying at the beginning, and I don't want it to affect my performance. So heading off to Al's, where I have a VIP discount for being one of the first 100 customers to shop there, to get myself some stuff that I'll use for this race. And then probably I'm planning on running all winter as well, doing some plate carrier runs and keeping up with my cardio. So this stuff will come in handy at probably, honestly, at work too. I'll probably end up having to wear this as the temperatures continue to drop into November and December as I'm driving my truck. My truck that I was driving today, it does have heat, but the heat is not great. So truck gets pretty cold until the sun comes out. Now things are relatively nice, but tomorrow it's gonna be cold. Stop what you're doing and look at them mountains. My goodness. BEA Utah full. Headed home now, and I wanted to ask you guys a question. I am considering a channel name change. I've thought of a couple of ideas, but I actually want your guys' opinions on what you think the channel's name should be. I think it would be fun to have you guys help me choose the new name for the channel. So sound off in the comment section. Let me know what you think the name change should be. I think that I chose the name that I did because this whole thing started with me wanting to quit my job, and quitting ultimately got me to where I am now. But I don't think it's the most appropriate name for the channel at this point and going forward. So I would love your input. Again, go ahead, sound off in the comment section. I would love to hear what your guys' ideas are for this channel's name going forward. Costume change, hung out with the wife and the baby for a little bit, and now I'm heading to go get on a lovely 2.5 hour bus ride through the Utah mountains. And it's dark again. Sorry I didn't film anything on the bus, didn't film anything at the game. On the bus, I was working on people's programs, personal training client programs. And then at the game, it was freezing cold. So hands were in gloves, in pockets, and I was not about to be filming, and it was a bit of a slaughter as well. We ended up winning 21-2. So anyway, not much worth filming, but it's 11:20 and I'm headed home. Gonna try to get as much sleep as I can, and then I am getting up probably around 5:30 to start waking up for my lovely 13-mile run. I will see y'all in the morning. sticking with my pacer. 1 mile down. Here we go. About to finish mile 11 without stopping. Always my sticking point. Losing my pacer a bit, but just gotta push. So I didn't film the end because I was super into it, but I lost my pacer by about 50 yards. Then in the last mile, I caught back up to them. Ended up finishing under my goal, 1 hour, 39 minutes, 41 seconds. Crushed it. My Fitbit took a very inaccurate location of me, but it got the time at the very least, so I don't have to wait for the race to give me my time. I already have it, but super happy about that. Fitbit thinks I did almost 15 miles, so it thinks that I did a 6-minute mile pace. Definitely not, but I was definitely in like the 7:30 range, which I'm super happy about. That's what I was training at this whole time. My brother finished about 8 minutes after me, which is awesome. He is with his kiddos now, waiting on their mom. I'm waiting on my mom. So we're just hanging out for now. All right, finally home. The place that put the run on, they emailed everybody their results because they put a chip in your bib that you wear with your number on it and everything. And that one had me at 10 seconds faster than my Fitbit had me, which is super cool. That means that I improved even more than I thought that I did from the last time that I ran a half marathon. The last time I ran a half marathon, I did it in like an hour and 43 minutes. This time I did it in an hour and 39 minutes and a half or so. I don't remember the exact numbers down to the T for the last one. Obviously, I have the exact numbers for this one because I just did it. Either way, I set a goal and I freaking smashed it. I knocked it out of the park, and I did a whole bunch of training for this. Started about 6 weeks ago, did 2 miles a couple times for a week, then 3 miles a couple times for a week, then 4, then 5, and then 6 twice 1 week, 7 twice 1 week, and then I jumped up to an 11-mile run this last run that I did to completely deplete my body of glycogen so that I could then go into a really good carb load, and it worked. It worked perfectly, and one of the reasons I wanted to do this was to test it out on myself so that I could try it with clients in the future. If I ever get somebody who comes to me and asks if I can help them with some kind of distance run, then this is the kind of protocol I'm going to be able to put them on. So the best trainers that you'll find out there are people who are willing to test things out on themselves and make sure that they work before then using them on their clients. The best trainers don't just go blindly into training people a certain way just because they heard that's how things work. They actually know that it works from firsthand experience. So that's kind of a little bit of what motivated me to do this. The other piece was my brother was doing it. I wanted to beat him because he's gotten really into distance running recently, and we're fairly competitive with each other when it comes to stuff like that. And then my mother was also doing it. She is a huge runner, loves running. And then my sister-in-law was doing it as well. So it seemed like a fun little family thing to do. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed what I gained from it. And I'm going to take what I've gained from a cardio perspective and try to at least maintain it, if not improve on it. I've set this tentative goal that eventually I'd like to do an Ironman. We'll see if we end up getting there, but that is a marathon, a 2.5 mile swim. I think it's like 2.4. And then it's like a 115 mile bike ride or something like that. And I'm not particularly interested in swimming or riding bikes or even running. But what I am interested in is the mental discipline that it takes to train for something like that and the mental discipline it takes to complete something like that. So I think I'm going to start with a full marathon, maybe do that sometime next year. And then I think I'm going to just personally work on my swimming and see if I can get a 2.5 mile swim in. No particular time in mind. And then I'm going to have to get into biking because it's really something I know nothing about. So if you know a lot about biking and you can give me some pointers, go ahead and sound off down in the comment section. I'd love to hear about that. But this is going to wrap up this video for me. I appreciate you watching and being on this adventure with me. If you liked this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will catch you later.